Welcome, everybody, and back to another edition of Corynthia Solo Center podcast. I'm Corynthia, and this is Julianne, and we are excited to see what today's topic brings and what information that the Arcturians are going to offer us, how to really drop into our own hearts and how to feel much more than what we've been able to feel in the past. Well, hi, Julianne.
Hi, Corynthia. So when we had talked about this episode, we were talking about, we had a meeting where you did this meditation, or they did this meditation, where we were dropping into our hearts and asking our head to, shush, I love you, but stop and drop into our hearts. And I had a really hard time with it because I'm not sure that I really understood how to drop into my heart or how to listen to my heart. What does that feel like? What am I searching for? Where is that feeling of your heart? So I was hoping that we could talk a little bit about that. And how do you listen to your heart? How to listen from your heart? And how to listen to your heart.
And I agree with you. That's a lot of issues that people have of like, I just don't feel, I can't experience what you're talking about. And it's very common. And a lot of that has to do with still a aspect of self-love. And when we are in true self-love, not a self-love that we think it is, but true, authentic self-love of self, our feeling of our heart is much more expanded, and we can feel when we're dropping in and when we're coming from the headspace. So I love that you brought up this topic, and I love that you had the experience that you had so that we can hopefully get some better, clear exercises or ideas of how to feel, how to know we're actually in our heart. So thank you.
And I think a lot of people have learned growing up to not express their feelings. So then they start shoving all their feelings down. I think that's a psychology thing where you stop losing touch with your feelings and you're just living straight out of your head. Everything is so suppressed.
I completely agree with that. And we've been beaten into us, literally. Don't cry, don't express, don't have feelings, don't get angry, don't, so that we become numb and we shut our heart space down because that's literally what we've been taught. And it's time that we don't do that anymore. It's time that we live our full authentic selves and feel and be able to express without fear, without condemnation of people thinking there's something wrong with us or anything of judgment of self or from others.
What's the first step to feeling?
For me, I think the first step is to learn how much you're judging yourself. How much are you condemning yourself day to day? And for me, it was simple as I had a teacher that was like, I want you to say 3 nice things about yourself in the mirror. I literally could not say 3 nice things about myself. That was just impossible. And it was neat because more and more as I was evolving and learning to love myself, I realized not only was I not saying mean things about myself, I would just look in the mirror and go, wow, you look beautiful today. And I wouldn't even, it was not even a thought. It just happened. And then what I realized as I stopped judging myself, I stopped judging others. Or I used to, in my brain, constantly go, oh my God, look at him with her. Or, oh my God, look at her shoes. It doesn't go with her outfit. Or just the stupidest stuff that I would be thinking in my brain whenever I was out in public. And it was neat because I witnessed as I loved myself more, I loved others more and accepting of others more. It was a direct reflection. So a lot of my first steps, I feel like were just recognize when I'm starting to tear myself down. When am I just saying, oh, you stupid idiot, why'd you do that? Or how dare you? Or you should have known better. Or any of these negative tear downs that we have towards ourselves that we do daily. And until you can learn to witness yourself doing this, you can't step out of the brain and be in the heart because this is all brain manipulation of judgment of self. Does that make sense?
Yeah, where does that come from? Like, don't we like, okay, so our brain is kind of a processor. And our body is really where we think from. So if we're trying to stop the self-judgment and judgment of others, is it coming from our gut? Is it coming, like, it can come from anywhere, can't it?
A lot of it
Mhm.
has to do with our own unprocessed programming and our own belief systems and our own torture that other humans have placed upon us. And what was interesting is, gosh, way back in the very beginning of me starting my business, I had a friend say, there's a lot you need to heal around people really mistreating you, because you've taken what they've done to you and you've amplified it, and you do it to yourself way worse than they ever did. So it's like you took their energy, their belief systems of you, and you just amplified it up and became your own worst enemy. And I feel like that is across the board human society, that we'll take the negatives and hold on to that and then continue to reflect it to ourselves as it being truth, even though it's not truth, or it was never truth of whatever judgment that those other people were doing to us or tormenting us or whatever the word is. And it takes you to just stop in the moment anytime you even think you're starting to judge yourself, and just go, no, this is no longer happening. Just like you would say to that person, no more. I'm not allowing you to mistreat me anymore. You're saying that to yourself of, stop. This is not my truth anymore. And reflecting back a positive to yourself and saying it out loud, because saying it out loud really changes the frequency versus just doing it in your head.
I think some of our negative self-talk and negative beliefs, of course, most of it comes from childhood because you get it programmed in you when you're little. But here's the deal. And they have already been there. They have positive and negative experiences. They know what's important and what's not important. But when you're a child, you don't have that. You're so raw. You don't have the experience to say, you know what, it really wasn't that big of a deal. Move on. And a good parent or a self-aware parent will be like, "Oh, are you okay?" Like, and help you learn that self-talk. But of course, we're coming from people, you know, we were in a different era, and we come from people who that wasn't part of parenting, making sure your kids were clothed and food and had food and behaved. Like behave in public was the main goal of, probably from our generation, but I'm seeing like my generation started doing it a bit different with the millennials, or our experiences showed them a different way. And I see them doing it different too. It's almost probably a little too much because it's gentle parenting. It's hard. It's really hard on the parent. It's really hard on the parent. And it doesn't give the kids that chance to have that anxiety build up so that they can learn the lessons of 3D reality. And that's okay too. Like all the things that happen to us that are really hard, I think that when you're really on a deep dive of self-evolution too, you're gonna the hard things, you're gonna go in and work on them. You're not gonna shove them down anymore. So kudos to maybe those of us who are like, okay, let's bring this up and like let's really heal it. Let's be the parent to our own memories that we needed. Not that our parents were exactly wrong, because life has lessons. Could they have done a better job? I think every parent, like I always look at my kids and go, oh my God, you deserve so much better. I did the best I could, but my life was happening at the same time that your life was happening. So, oh no. Okay, sorry about that. Um, so just that's where I think we got disconnected from our body entirely, was we just didn't want to feel our body anymore, let alone try to feel our heart.
I agree with that because it's painful. I mean, I remember as a child, my heart hurt a lot. And it
Mm.
was over silly things or big things and just a combo of things. And it was just interesting how painful our chest area can become through. well, some of us are very empathic, so we're not only dealing with our own life and existence, but we're feeling everybody else's. So I remember mine just being, it was tormented. My heart was so tormented that I did shut it down. I was very cold for many, many years, especially the beginning of my adult life until about my mid 30s when I learned to open up. I was shut down. I did not know how to love myself. I did not know how to love others. I didn't know how to feel without just being in extreme pain physically. So
Yeah, how do we do that now?
yeah, it's a good question. For me, it was more learning boundaries and learning to step into my voice. And that really shifted in altering other energy that was infiltrating my space, as well as making people respect me, not allowing people to run me over and treat me like a doormat.
Well,
So,
kids can't have too many boundaries because their parents have to keep them safe and in line, and they're kind of not the boss, and they're learning how to get along in the world. So the balance of learning how to feel your feelings and let your feelings be okay, and also acknowledging them instead of shoving them down and say, well, I wasn't allowed to feel them before. Well, you were, you just weren't really allowed to express them.
yeah.
Still expressing your feelings. So say somebody does something to you that hurts your feelings, like your boss gets mad at you because you really did mess something up and they are not really quite delighted about it. They're a little ticked, right? And they have every right to be ticked. So then you get your feelings hurt because they're mad at you. So they have a right to be mad at you, but you still have your feelings. So let's explore, like, how do we feel with our heart and allow other people their feelings too? Because your boss, your spouse, whatever, has the right to have their feelings, and you have the right to have your feelings. Where's the balance in that?
That's a great question. I think we should ask upper management for that
Let's do it.
one. All right. You guys got the question. Kona nanaya sanama, kishina kapono, solowa kakiti nasiti manaha, noata satishinia. So the best way for balance of that is recognizing your error that you created, but not self damnation of self from making an error. Simply because errors are common, because this is a new existence in a human form of how to navigate, meaning that there is no guidebook, no education that is set for you to be a human, and it has to work just like this. Through your experiences, offers up your wisdom and creation of better making of yourself. When it comes to the balance of this, allow yourself to forgive yourself for the error and allow yourself to witness the other person's expression. Honor it, but do no longer receive it. Meaning, you honor that they expressed, hopefully in a healthy way, but now you honor yourself of thank you for this lesson. I apologize to myself. I forgive myself. I did the best I knew. And even if I didn't know and I decided something different, it's okay. Now I know better now. And I forgive myself for what I've created and sending a love, not only for self, but love towards the person that you quote aired. That way, there is now a separation of transformation versus a connection that you keep feeding upon on that moment and that energy. And that connection that you fed upon during that time will continue to replay and replay and replay until you have disengaged that energy. That is part of the unconsciousness that you receive and that you continue to play, that you err. You're an error. You are not good enough. You are fallible. Whatever the information is that you chose to take from this situation. It's important as a human being that you take responsibility for yourself and your actions. Your actions do ripple out to many others, knowing it or unknowing it, energetically, as well as possibly physically. When you have a situation similar to what Julianne has mentioned, just allow yourself to sit in the energy of, I self-forgive, I honor me, and I move forward. And thank you for this information. And I release this energy, this connection between the person and myself. And this does not mean that you're going to avoid that person or you're going to be afraid of that person or anything else. It's simply just releasing the energy, because if it's a healthy relationship between you and that other person, the other person will let it go as well and not keep replaying it or looking and frowning upon you. It is difficult as you do not have any guarantee of that situation, but remember that once you have released the energy, you have transformed it within yourself, you have apologized for your error and chosen to become more wise in the way you do things. Anything else beyond that is on the other person to shift. It is not your responsibility to shift it. It's your responsibility to take ownership and move forward without condemning yourself that there is something wrong. It's just simple. Yes, I'm a human being. I chose something that was not quite in alignment, and that's okay. This is the privilege of being a human being, and now I know for next time. Or maybe you did make the right decision, and even if someone disagrees, you know you made that in alignment with yourself. Honor you for that, for not being afraid. There's always other sides to everything that happens in conflict or in choices that we make. Hopefully this helps.
So what I got was experience equals wisdom, forgive yourself, witness, do not own their feelings, learn. Connection you feel, there's a connection that you fed on. Disconnect and let it go. Sit with yourself and your feelings. Disconnect from the energy. That's it. That's all I wrote. So like, I think the rumination is the problem. We start ruminating on things that happen because as a child, when something happened, we didn't want to make that mistake again. So that's how we would learn, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, don't do that, right? And then we learned as adults to keep the rumination going. But somewhere along the line, we also learned to disconnect from it. It seems like what they were like, you disconnect from the being able to let go, because that rumination does start in childhood.
Absolutely.
So we have to kind of unlearn a lesson that we learned, or not unlearn a lesson that we learned, but unlearn a technique that we used as children.
I like that. That's really good.
Yeah, how do we do that?
Well, like maybe the insights there of, how to disengage from that. And when it comes to being an adult and you're trying to heal through these old belief systems, because what happens is that when we have these situations, it becomes a belief system within us of truth. And it's learning to unravel within yourself these belief systems and creating a different belief system within yourself so that the unconscious isn't playing the same record of you're unworthy, you suck, blah, 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 blah type deal. So it's important that as you do the self-transformation, that you do witness aspects of these belief systems, honor it, don't go back to self-sabotaging with it. Just honor it and go, yeah, I see you. But you know what? This isn't my belief system anymore. I'm choosing to move forward. I'm choosing to step into my authentic self. I'm choosing to step into my heart center. And I'm not playing this anymore. So this is my new truth. And whatever it is that's positive, that's uplifting. And this isn't wishful thinking, it's your actual truth. There is no such thing as a perfect human. It doesn't exist.
So when you were saying disengage, my stomach just fell. Like I thought of like bad situations in my life, and to disengage from them, my stomach fell. I don't even know what that's about. It was like, oh no, no, you can't do that.
Well, what I'm getting for you of that is that it's your identity. That is your identity. And you're attached to that because you don't know who you are without it, and you're afraid to see because you've been taught, told, believed within yourself that you're this bad person. So it's scary because it's going into this unknown territory of, but what if I am a bad person? What if I do see that I'm a bad person? Well, reality is that unless you're out there doing something very horrific, none of us are bad people. We're just navigating life the best we can. And the best part is if we can recognize those pits in the stomach or the drop in the stomach that you're
Oh,
experiencing.
that was like me feeling.
Yeah, it's like,
Because I literally tapped into it. Oh, wow. So it's that like listen, like actually being in touch with your feelings while you're experiencing life and acknowledging that. Here's the big rub though. Okay, so I acknowledged that feeling and I was almost like, oh, everything else around me needs to stop so I can sit with that feeling. How do you get past that? You have feelings all day long. You kind of have to turn them off so you can get on with your day.
well, it becomes easier and easier that when you're in a situation like that, of feeling that, of just being able to connect into your body and go, okay, what is it that's holding on? And then you can, within moments, literally just thank you so much, body, for showing up, giving me this insight. This is no longer my truth. I shift this. Or, hey, you know what? This is deep. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for allowing me to feel this. Let's make a date to do this. So like for me, when I was starting my business and I was working with a lot of clients, I was having transformation just the same as the clients, but I obviously couldn't fall apart there with the clients, and I had to get through the day, like you said. So I literally made a pact with my body that on the weekend, on a Saturday, that I would give it space to unravel all this information and be with it and clear through it. And it was great because my body respected that because I created, it's almost like a boundary on some level, but it's almost just an acknowledgement of like, hey, I feel you, I see you. I'm not ignoring you, but let's wait until I'm in a space that I'm safe and we can do this together. So it's almost like you're taking you as your best friend and going, hey, I love you. I know you're going through a lot. Let's do this in a space that's safe for us to do it together. And it really worked. It worked very well for me. And yes, I had days I was curled up in a ball, 1 minute laughing, 1 minute crying, 1 minute pissed off at the world. But I was having huge transformation very quickly. So most of us aren't going to go through that to that extreme. It was just that was my process of how I had to go through for my evolution. But it's one of those that the next day, oh my gosh, I felt like such a lighter, brighter person, and my face would shift in such a beautiful way, and my body would hold differently, and I could just feel just huge releases. And more I did that, the more I could feel, but in a way that was healthy, not in a way that was negative.
As you were speaking too, and we were talking about like the body, like when my stomach dropped when you had said that, my identity. Um, there's also a piece where that identity is what keeps me safe. It's almost like if I criticize myself first, once you come at me, it won't hurt so much. I'm already ready for it. How do we get past that?
It's that's a good question as well. A lot of that is, like I said, that's that self-sabotage mechanism that it's like you just said, it's safer for me to tear myself down so that you can't affect me. And that's unhealthy. So the thing that I've witnessed over and over again with me was the more that I learned to not self-criticize, I didn't have the people coming at me to criticize me. My energy shifts, so I wasn't reflecting or needing that mirror of being criticized. Now it's like I rarely get anybody who wants to be vicious or mean or criticize or things like that. But then it's like the energy space boundary that I've created for myself, it's like I'm in such self-love, even if I feel like there's aspects of me that still needs assistance or I'm failing or I'm not perfect, which is fine because like I said, there's no such thing as perfect. It's not in a way that's detrimental to myself. It's in a way that's like, hey, how can we pick this up and transition it differently? How can I look at this in a better way? How can I interact in a healthier way with whatever the situation is? And what I've noticed is that I don't get that type of people to even come near me in my energy field to try to tear me down. And even if they do, say like the classic for all of us that are out there, being not showing our faces and out there showing our voices, we always have the trolls, always. And it's cool because it's like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, there's always going to be somebody that disagrees and wants to create conflict or fight. And instead of crawling into a hole that used to be the way I would do it, now I'm like, uh-huh, and just move on. Like there isn't even there's no energy play at all. It's just like, oh, there it is. No worries. Delete. Does that make sense? Like it
Hmm.
just doesn't attach to me. That energy can't affect me anymore. But it's because I'm choosing to be in my authentic self in my heart space. And there's always going to be someone who disagrees, but that's okay because it's not going to resonate with me. Therefore, even if they're saying it, it's not going to affect me in any way. And it's not going to shift me to change.
Right. So when we do the meditations to drop into the heart, going back to our original, um, when we do the meditations, or when somebody is sitting there meditating quietly or journaling, your monkey mind starts up, right? So you're trying really hard to get into this space, but then all this chatter and noise comes up. How do we deal with that when
So
we're
are you
trying to
referring
feel our
to
bodies?
just the meditation aspect? Well, for me, it's the best way is to find a space that you can be more present. Because our monkey brain is because we're not present. Our monkey brain is like, I got to do this, this, and this. Oh shit, I should have done that yesterday. Oh, da da da, or whatever. It's that, or these random thoughts, whatever. So it's learning to just be more in a present state where you're just there. There is no thought but expression of gratitude. So, for example, mine is I love to go sit in the sun every day and just watch my chickens. There's something about it that's very peaceful for me. It's joyful for me. And I'm literally doing nothing. I have to step away from my work, just take a break. And I'm just in this present moment of just witnessing and watching and intriguement and curiosity and but love and everything of just the gratitude of feeling the warmth on my skin and everything about it, that's where my mind quiets. That's where I'm present. And that's where I can drop into my heart and get anything I need to know that if I'm out of alignment or if there's a message coming through for me that I need to be aware of from my upper management, whatever it is. But I need to be in a state of just presence. Is the only word that keeps coming up of just, I'm here. And I'm just so focused in on what is I'm experiencing around me and gratitude for it all at the same point. And I call it a peace joy. It's like you're in this peacefulness that's joyful. And it's just, that's where I've learned the monkey brain can shut off for me.
There's a lot of people that are in a regular amount of torment, like every day. So even trying to find a peaceful place, a peaceful time can be just the TV is on or they're watching something. Um, But that's not really having time with yourself, is it?
No, because the thing is you're still putting energy out into something else. What I'm saying is I'm literally still sitting there and there's nothing except listening to the birds or feeling the wind or feeling the sun. And I'm just in such awe of allowing my body to have feeling. And when it comes to when you're in such torment, it's one step at a time. It's literally just witness when you're tormenting yourself. And literally, I would tell people it's like shaking a kid if it was going crazy. Like the old school way that you and I would have been shook as a kid if we're going crazy. And just you're kind of doing it to yourself, and you need to be intense in this reaction of stop. I'm no longer believing in this truth of myself. I no longer will treat myself like this. I now do this. Thank you. Thank you for me witnessing this aspect of me doing this to me. And I'm choosing to be my heart. And that's all you have to do. You don't have to go any deeper unless you can. But in the beginning, sometimes we can't. We just need to stop the cycle, shake it out and go, oh, there it is. Great. And the other thing that I witnessed is that the more that I would do that, I would go just straight into a space of gratitude for myself on every level. Thank you, body, or thank you to me for being able to button my shirt. Thank you for me to be able to smile. Thank you for me to be able to walk and feel the grass under my feet. Just the simplest things of gratitude really saw that cycle quite quickly. And I noticed for me, it took about 2.5 weeks, and I stopped beating myself up to the point like I broke a glass all over the kitchen. And normally I'd be like, you dumb idiot, blah, 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 whatever self-negative talk I would have done. I was just like, oh, okay. And I cleaned it up, no big deal. And it was funny because it caught me off guard too, of like, I just didn't beat myself up. Wow, this is great. This is awesome. And I
Oh, and
just,
even praising yourself when you catch
yes.
yourself doing it right, or being kind to yourself, being like, "Oh, nice. Yeah, I like when I'm like that." And the more you do it to yourself, the more you can see yourself doing it to other people, right? Um, what does it okay, so if we go back to the heart again, what does it feel like when you're okay, we're coming out of our head, we're not thinking with our head. We want the monkey to quiet to and then like I don't want to tell the monkey to sit. I love monkeys. I don't want the monkey to feel like it has no purpose. Your monkey mind definitely has a purpose. So giving it a pacifier. Here's your binky monkey. Go ahead, suck on the binky and then drop into the heart. What does that feel like? What does it actually feel like? What is the feeling that we're chasing so that we can get into that state of going into your heart? Which, I mean, that's even like your logo, your slogan and stuff, right?
Yeah. Yes. Drop into your heart. Start with your heart. It
Start with your heart.
seems to be the big theme of everything I talk about. The interesting thing is we've been programmed to believe the head is everything. Intelligence, people are going to respect us, we're going to get far in life, and it's all about the head, the head, the head. Well, yes, it did at some level for us as human beings, but the world is shifting. Now it needs to be in the heart. It can't be all in the head. The heart is to navigate the head, not the other way around. So, but the big thing is that you have to start loving your heart. Not
Uh,
only
when we're an embryo, and is the heart the first thing that develops?
that, I don't
I
know.
don't either. Okay, I'm sorry. Continue.
The big thing is we've separated ourselves from ourself on many, many levels. That's where you get that word about duality and spiritualism and things like that. And even though they reference, God and ourselves, a duality is within ourselves. We have separated ourselves from ourselves on every level, down to my shoulder isn't working today, so I'm going to separate it and be angry at it and treat it like crap and what's wrong with you kind of attitude. That's a separation. So being programmed to not feel and not be in our heart space, it's important for us to just place our hands on our heart and go, hey, heart, I see you and I love you. And thank you for being my heart. And just every day start communicating with the heart and letting it speak up, let it feel safe. And your brain will just naturally kind of calm down. And sometimes we even have to say, brain, I love you so much. Let's let the heart speak for once. We have to have a dialogue within ourselves because we've separated ourselves. So it's almost like you're acknowledging different parts of yourself because you've chosen to separate yourself from yourself. So it's important that you just really start communicating and saying, I love you, heart. I see you. I feel you. I'm here with you. There's no judgment, only love for you. And that's super important to really be able to feel in the heart. So not only are you stopping your self-sabotage of speaking to yourself negatively, but acknowledging that part of you that you have closed off.
What does it feel like?
As you start feeling, it may be painful. For me, when my heart started opening up, it was painful for an entire month. It felt like a muscle that hadn't been used in a long, long time. And I had a teacher who said, I know that your heart has opened. Whatever you do, do not shut it back down. No matter what's going on around you, do not shut it back down. That was the best advice he could have ever gave me, because I witnessed how many times other people or my situations or whatever, or myself, I wanted to shut it down because it hurt and I didn't want to feel, especially being an empath, to the level I could feel. And then I just was like, okay, it hurts. I honor it. It's okay. And it was amazing because after I went through that expansion, because the pain is expansion, it's literally your chest bones, your muscular system, everything is expanding. Not that you're going to turn into a big chested person, it's just that you're opening up. And the heart itself is not dormant. The energy of the heart is starting to awaken. So it's no different than the physical muscle of the heart actually being activated. It is part of it.
When you're an empath and you're feeling everybody else's feelings around you, that is literally shutting down your own feelings.
Yes.
So it's almost intrusive to other people. I don't know that empaths know that, and a lot of times empaths come from childhood abuse or abuse in general because they're reading the room too much instead of reading their heart. Something, I don't remember where I heard that, but like instead of being aware of yourself, you're being aware of everything else.
And there is a lot of truth to that. I know what you're talking about, but there are some of us that are genuinely just born empathic. We are literally just born that way
Mm-hmm.
because our path is to be more aware and awake, to evolve into what we are evolving. So for me, I was born being an empath. Yes, I came from abuse. Absolutely. But that wasn't the reason I was an empath. So I definitely know there is truth to both. The big thing with the empath, the intrusiveness, is not that we're intruding on other people, at least maybe some maybe, but I wasn't.
I don't think it's like necessarily like they're trying to. They're just trying to stay safe to keep
Yeah,
everybody to know what the deal is going on around them.
it is. But the big thing is that we are confused if it's us or is it somebody else. At the time, I never had
Mm.
any teachers. My parents did not understand my gifts or abilities. And for me, I thought there was something wrong with me. I thought I was crazy. I thought I was bipolar and had all these blah, blah. I wasn't. I just was being so hit so hard with such energies of whatever and whomever. And it was hard to navigate who am I and where am I? And so when I had my real awakening in my 30s, I finally got to learn who I was and then start kind of pushing back of like, no, no more. This
Mm.
is me. This is everybody else's. But it took tools to start witnessing and recognizing what's mine, what wasn't.
Mm.
Realize I'm like, there is nothing wrong with me. I'm not bipolar. I'm not this. I'm not that.
So it's kind of just another sense. So
Mhm.
for some people, they're really just trying to stay safe and being too
Yes,
overly
absolutely.
aware of everybody else's situation. Um, but that great sense of being able to reach out to help somebody else because you can spot that they're struggling or that, whatever it is that you're feeling for them. You got to feel yourself first so you can make the difference between who is what and what is who.
And it's a practice and you need the right tools. That is absolutely hands down important. Because like I said, I didn't understand that back then at all. And I recognized just us having this conversation, looking back of like how much torment I went through because I didn't know the difference.
Right. Oh, not being able to separate your feelings from somebody else's feelings. That's exhausting.
Yes.
See, so that's where I think a lot of people just turn off feelings in general. You don't have to worry about if it's theirs, like for me, it was like, it doesn't matter if it's yours or theirs or whatever. I don't feel anything.
And that's where I went. I went exactly there.
Okay. So most people do. So what we're trying to learn to do when you drop it to your heart is to have a healthy relationship with your feelings.
In yourself, but in the sense of I witnessed my body. And recognize you have a body and recognize you have a heart, a true space that is your heart. And when you're dropping into your heart, when you start feeling pain, you just say thank you. You don't get scared with it. You don't try to unravel every aspect of why.
Oh,
You
you don't. You
no,
don't have, oh, I know what that's triggering. So that's not a necessary thing to
it's
pick out.
not in the beginning, especially because it's just like, oh, I feel you. Yes, you're in pain. I honor you and love you, and you're safe now. Simply saying that will change that. And if there
Mm.
is a memory that you do need to know, it will show up. And instead of being in conflict with it, hopefully you have a teacher to help guide you through some of this because it makes it a hell of a lot easier. But it's one of those of like, hey, I got you. And we're going to clear this through and it's okay. And now we're going to transform us into a stronger version of ourselves because we're safe. And the big thing is it's fear and safety that constantly causes us to shut down on
And
any
I
level.
think some people use food or drink or whatever it is to shut those down. So
Yep.
they're not feeling those uncomfortable feelings. Let's talk about those uncomfortable feelings. They're uncomfortable. And how do you get past it? Unless you're going to eat or drink something to distract you, to take your mind off of it. What does the alternative look like?
Well, this is a great question that you're asking now because this was a conversation I literally just had last night with my boyfriend. He was extremely stressed out with mechanical stuff. And the first thing he wanted was like, I need a drink. And I was like, hey, I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but can you step back and see why you're driven to want the drink? Well, I just want to relax. And that was his response. I said, great. Well, why? Because you're stressed because something wasn't working accordingly to the way you wanted to work out. And it was like, it was neat because I witnessed that within myself too, when I was like, I just need a drink. And even though I'm not a big drinker, it was to numb myself out. And so I said, do you, but just witness within yourself. What are you experiencing? Do you need to go sit by yourself for a moment, be with your heart and just go, whoa, this sucks. This is tough. This is really stressing me out. And go into a more peaceful state of yourself, an acceptance of self, of like, yeah, this is really a pain in the butt. Okay, breathe. I release this energy and allow me to look at it differently. Allow me to witness what I'm experiencing and expand it broader so that I can receive different clarity of what the situation is and how I can transform it so it's not a stressor anymore.
It's like you almost stop breathing. When you're stressed out, when something has happened, or you're freaked out, or you're scared, or it has just been too much, you almost just stop breathing.
And then you go into anger or you go into defeat or you go into whatever. But if we can just witness what it is of like, okay, yeah, that part on my truck is a pain in the ass and it's rusted and it won't come apart and I've spent 3 hours on it. Rah! And sometimes just get out some of that anger, even of like, ah, but then sit with yourself of like, thank you for me being me and being trying, but can I please see this clearer and differently in another aspect of how I can take care of the situation that's really stressful for me? And that to me, it takes a lot more self discipline than the automatic, because it's in our culture, just to drink, just to smoke some weed, just to whatever it is, eat,
Push it down.
Yeah.
Make that go away and be somewhere else.
And then the problem's still there.
The next time it's triggered, it's worse. It's worse
Exactly.
and worse and worse. That triggered a story of my son. He's a body man, and he tells me this story that, like, I don't remember how it came up. I think because I was getting frustrated doing something, and he'll be working on something, and like the part won't come apart. Oh, it was because of your story. Part won't come apart, and he's like cussing and just and he gets it all out, and he finally gets the thing apart, and he's at work, and he's like cussing at this car. He gets it apart. He goes, "See, that was easy."
Like that.
And the guy's at his work is like, he does it every time. He's like, he's over there having a fit, and then he gets it done and goes, "See, I told you I could do it." So do that. I love that. Like, do that with yourself. Like, let yourself be angry, and then come out of the meditation, go, "That's easy.
I like
I knew I
that.
could do it. Piece of cake."
Well, the nice thing is it just allows us to open up from that restraint, because I think stress puts us in this like clenched up restraint energy, and when we
And
can,
feel that restraint,
yeah.
feel that, and then go, "That was easy. See, I told you I could do it." Be your own comic relief.
Absolutely. And humor, honestly, is the only way I've gotten through this damn life.
Right? Right? It's been
If I,
really easy.
yeah.
Super easy. Said nobody ever. Honestly, nobody has had a super easy life. That isn't 3D reality.
No, and it doesn't.
And I think really, because like we were talking about the Kali Yuga, that's what this is really about too, is getting through the what isn't easy. And so that as humanity grows into an easier time, we can really, we know the contrast.
And then we can also transition anytime we go into that restrictive, because we know the contrast now. And it's might be just subtle initially, but then it becomes big contrast. And so anytime we go here, we know how we can expand it into this aspect.
And when we're going through something like we're going through a difficult situation, we can compare it to, yeah, remember when we were learning how to ride a bike, and like the first thing you need to learn how to do is fall.
Tuck and roll.
That I would take the training wheels off the kids' bikes, and I'd be like, "Let's go learn how to fall."
I like that.
Right? So the first thing you do, you feel your bike fall and you stick your foot out. Try it without. Try not sticking your foot out one time. See how it goes. Because it's like touching the hot stove. Now you're blistered. But you wouldn't have believed me. You wouldn't have believed me unless you touched the dang stove, right? Or if you didn't stick your foot out, like when I let go and I said, "Put your foot out." It's really important though, unless you know the contrast. So really, the hard things that have been in our life are really the contrast, so that when we see the beautiful things, we know how to stick our foot out, so we can just start pedaling again. We push off with, that's our push off. These hard things are our push off, so that we can accelerate forward.
I love how you're saying that. That's beautiful.
I'm like, maybe, or it just sucks. And
It's
if it
still a
just
push-off.
sucks, that's when we sit down with it and we go, "Yeah, that just sucked. See, I told
Yeah.
you it'd be easy.
Got to coin that. I told you it'd be easy.
Told you it was easy. Knew I could do it. No problem. It was fun." No, it was not.
But the nice
Gonna
thing
be
is,
a good story later
yeah, well,
if
and
I
it
live
does
to
get
tell it.
easier and easier, honestly. I mean,
What's that? It does.
yeah, as we get into our heart and we're able to just stop in a moment, it gets easier and easier. It becomes your habit. It becomes what you are and who you are.
It's
And
creating a habit. It's creating a new habit. And first step to creating the new habit is When you feel that feeling, acknowledge it. And if you're not in a space that you can deal with it, you say, I'll sit with you. I'm sorry. I will get with you. Probably this isn't the moment, but kind of give yourself that little talk. And it doesn't have to be an actual talk. You can just remember quickly. Remember, I'm gonna sit with you later. But then you really have to make the time to sit with yourself later, or you will stop believing yourself.
Absolutely. And that's when you lose control. That's such an important thing you brought up. Because there is a trust between you and your body and your emotions. And that's where I'm saying it's odd because we are one whole being, but we've separated ourselves so we're not a whole being. So we have different aspects of us that are on its own time doing its own thing. And there's no collaboration of togetherness. And that's the ultimate goal, is through the heart, you become one whole being, that you move in a simultaneous movement. And if something starts getting a little wonky, you go, hey, I see you, what's going on? And you move through it. But yeah, you have to honor yourself, love yourself, and respect yourself enough to give yourself that space to work with whatever it was that showed up.
Learning to trust yourself is a big one too. Learning to trust yourself that you're going to make good decisions for yourself. We've always been taught, oh, it's selfish. Don't be selfish.
Mm.
All you're doing is caring about yourself. That turned into a really bad thing. Just caring about yourself is really selfish, but having a good you and them balance is not selfish. Where do we come to a balance? That's learning to trust yourself that you're going to do what's right by you. And what about that kickback that you get from other people going, oh, well, that wasn't the best thing for me. Why'd you do that? How do you handle that?
You just learn that you are you and they are them, and they're going to do their way and you're going to do your way, and there's absolutely no right or wrong.
So back in my notes, it said something about from the Arcturians, do not own their feelings. You have to own your own feelings. And that's where you build a trust with yourself. And I found here that the nervous system is specifically the neural tube is the first thing that develops in the first weeks of pregnancy. What is the neural tube?
I think, yeah, let's find out. I have no idea.
Okay. I'm like, what the heck's a neural tube?
Actually, I think you should look that up. What the
Okay.
neural tube is.
Um, I got something about Apple. I don't think Apple is what developed. I don't think we get a computer chip.
Hope not.
Yeah, no, it's not coming up with that word.
My best guess would be the nervous system is the first piece that's.
That was second.
Oh, okay.
An embryonic structure that develops into the brain, the spinal cord, and the central nervous system.
Ah, it makes
So the
sense.
structure of the nervous system comes first, early development, and then the cardiovascular system is after that. Neural tube develops first weeks of pregnancy to the brain and the spinal cord, and then the cardiovascular system.
Wow. That puts things in a neat perspective of information, at least that I have known, is that our spinal cord is all our information, and it's like our lifeblood. To me, the spinal fluid is our lifeblood, and it carries information. And then our spine retains it like a computer chip of either from our DNA, ancestral, past lives, this current contract, whatever it is. Even in the embryo, all that information is being downloaded initially.
Mhm.
So that's really cool to learn this. And then
Right. So that starts first. So it's like the software develops and then how would you describe that? Like you're getting all your information developed first. The information develops first and then the heart develops. So I don't even know how to articulate that.
well, we can ask Arcturians.
Let's ask them why
Okay.
it's like that.
All right. You guys have the question? All right. So what they're saying is that So there's always going to be a soul that's going to be assigned to a development of the baby, but the soul doesn't attach till much later in the stages of the development of the fetus. But so it's already in a contract on some level. And this is not to deter you that if you do not choose to go to term that you're killing anything or destroying anything, because this will be reprogrammed. If this soul is meant to be born, it will be put into another fetus. It's nothing to what they're saying is, please don't take this as a political thing. Basically, as a fetus is being created, that information system is being programmed into the cells of the body so it can replicate. Then as the heart comes in, the heart is a necessary for the breath and survival of the actual fetus, and the blood flow. And the blood flow carries the information just like the spinal cord fluid and the nervous system does. And as the brain develops, the heart on the energetic level is tapped in, as you already know, on a physiology level. It is connected to everything in the body. Your heart in some way, literally through the blood flow, is connected to every aspect of your human body. But the heart also, just like the nervous system or the tube there of the spinal cord fluid, it carries a frequency and an energy. So it's not just physiology, it's an emotional aspect of self. So as the heart develops with the central nervous system, you are born where it should work together. But as you are born and then you are in childhood, you learn to separate. So initially you are giving where you are connected, hence why a lot of children are still very aware of higher wisdom, because they're tapping into that heart aspect connected with this information that's given in the spine, and they work together as one. But as society breaks you down and recreates you in a different mold, that's where the separation comes. And what you're doing as adults or older children or whatever is your goal is to reconnect the heart to the spinal fluid and become one again, so that it works together and not a separation. Does this make sense?
Yeah. What happens when they connect together? What will we see as far as, okay, so first off is how do we reconnect it?
It's like the tools that I had said earlier of just acknowledging you, acknowledging your heart. I feel you, I see you. And then as you work with the unconscious, the spine will start opening up and the flow will start opening up better and better. And then the flow of the heart, physiology wise and emotional wise, will start flowing in a much more rhythmic pattern. And it will expand you and be able to work as one unit versus the heart, the spinal cord, whatever other organs you want to add in. Yeah. So
Becoming one.
becoming one whole being the way we were actually born into.
Very interesting. Is there any final words, or do they have any other information to give us to send us off with?
Yeah, I'll have them wrap everything up for you guys here.
Yeah.
They said they would like to send a frequency to you just to help you connect your heart to yourself so that there isn't the separation. Kontananaha, nieta shukuya, nieta naha sinipahane, nieta kaitalo suchianati, tanetu tumata, sotabadia danaha kidninasi, sanasha shanatuahi. Recognize that fear is ultimately the reason you have shut off your heart. The fear of everything, all aspects of a human aspect and experience. So when you can recognize that that is it, and there's much deeper aspects to each piece, it's important for you to just go, yeah, I'm human, and this is part of my expression. But I no longer will allow this to be my forefront, and I'm going to acknowledge and love my heart, love myself through my heart, and reconnect all aspects of my being through my heart. By you using those simple words, things will just start happening. Make sure you say it out loud, as this is a frequency that is connecting you to you. Konapaasana shishanasu kuyatalama hanikini ni chinatuwata nalawakoyitea sadhana tinapa tikia tusu lashishumpusa lalakitineahai. Now we ask that you just take a breath into your heart. Feel your heart in all its glory. Even if it's shut down, recognize it as it is a true part of you. And it is deserving to be put onto the pedestal and crowned, as this is your center. This is where all things should be navigated from. It is the king or queen of your existence. Your heart knows only truth. It does know pain. It does know joy, but it only knows truth. Allow yourself to express your gratitude towards your heart, coaxing it with love, honoring it with respect, and letting it know that you witness it, you are here with it, and that only your love that you know, the best that you know, will be part of you. Kietana sune shana hoa, kietala hai tinemia, sonoto dopa kainene atawa, tiawan sukutumi, nae sadashunoshu, tuula makietawa, solabakum kiesa, shushon pantea santea, sono solowata nietami, nikia nuahana, lilia satieshishu, sonotarana hati tietawakai, sonopa tiampu. Nasalago kuya sonasanashi shineatanama tianta. Allow this frequency just to enter into your body. Allow this frequency to clear your mind. And allow this frequency to connect within deep inside your heart that connects your soul to your body and all to all aspects of yourself. We are giving you the beginning tips on how to create yourself in a new light, to allow yourself to start pulling out of the muck that your existence may be in. Know that this muck is purely out of choice, and even though it feels like you may not have chose it, some aspect of you has. Recognize that because of that, you now have choice to pull through it and come out of it and recreate. This is the amazingness of being a human, is that we literally have choice every moment. You are not stuck. You are not paralyzed. You still have choice. Choice of thought, choice of words, choice of expression and experience, and a choice of being able to become one with yourself. As this will take practice, so do not get discouraged. Just do the simple steps that we have given you through this podcast. You will notice a huge difference in a matter of weeks. Allow yourself just to experience it with no expectations. And do not condemn yourself if you don't feel the way you think you should feel, as this is just purely ego, and this ego thinks it knows it all in the sense of the way you will work in the way that you should experience. So it'll just be in a state of allowance, however it shows up, with no attachment, no judgment, but purely excitement, curiosity, and love. We ask that you continue the gratitude for yourself, We ask that you continue to recognize any self-sabotaging words that come through your mouth or through your thoughts. Allow yourself to recognize when you do this and tell yourself no more and move it through into a positive aspect of self with absolute love and gratitude. You are human in this human experience. It is time for you to connect to your heart and become one whole being. Through this, you will step into the superpower of what you are and whom you are to become and whom you are always meant to be. You are all divinely perfect in the exact timing, exactly where you're to be. Know that each moment is still choice. Do not forget this. We thank you and we honor you, and this transmission is complete.
Nice. Thank you.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thanks, guys. Well,
We'll
I
see
hope
you next
everybody,
week then,
yeah,
right?
I hope everybody really enjoyed this. And please, we ask that you comment below, give us some more insight of what you experience, and if you need assistance with anything. And also, please give us ideas and topics that you would love for us to connect with our Arcturians and with ourselves of how to help you navigate your life in a much easier way. And we both, Julianne and I, just thank you for being here and listening to this podcast.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.